Malkin. She's out in Colorado where there's a lot of slippery slopes.
Morning.
Usually people are just skiing down those.
And we're falling down this one.
Well, how do you react to what Wendell Guller just said? So this phone call between Boehner and the president kind of laying down the gauntlet, saying, look, Republicans, unless you talk debt ceiling and raising taxes, I'm not going to actually come to the table anymore. How come he's not talking about what many Americans deem to be the real problem, which is enormous, ginormous spending?
Yeah, well, that's never been on the table for this president, so that certainly isn't any surprise. And the idea of this power grab, of course, is in keeping with this imperial presidency. It's not just a power grab, it's a two-fisted power grab, chokehold. Give me a wrestling move, Brian, for what this is. And I'm glad to see that there is some... Okay, yeah. Whatever, pile driver, I don't know, just something really obnoxious and of course over the top MMA move here. But I am glad to see that there is some fighting spirit left on Capitol Hill, and that this administration is being called out on for its blatantly unconstitutional move to usurp the power of the purse.
Well, you know what, Michelle, you called it a power grab. You're not alone. Congresswoman Cynthia Loomis, a Republican from Wyoming, called it that. We're going to play a little soundbite from her, but first, the president setting the table.
If Congress in any way suggests that they're going to tie negotiations to debt ceiling votes and take us to the brink of default once again as part of a budget negotiation, which, by the way, we have never done in our history until we did it last year, I will not play that game.
This is an unprecedented power grab by this president, and the Congress needs to put its foot down. Instead of talking about whether we're going to pass tax bills that raise 8 days' worth of spending, shouldn't we be talking about where we're going to cut?
You know, what's interesting about, the president talking about, I don't want Congress to have to vote on raising the debt limit. When he was a U.S. senator from the great state of Illinois, he voted against raising the debt limit as a senator when George Bush was in control.
Yeah, good point. Amen, sister, to Congressman Lummis there. And also a reminder that it was this president, when he was in the Senate as well, who had said that we have to discuss the debt tax, the debt limit tax on Americans. And how can you talk about it if you give over and cede and surrender the complete power to raise that debt limit to the executive branch? Hello? You know, it doesn't help that it was Mitch McConnell who put this in place last year, and of course who now calls it an outrageous power grab. When you give this administration an inch, it takes 10 miles or a marathon, and that's what they're doing here.
All right, so you say that it's a violation of the Constitution. I want to move on to the what you're deeming the Merry Cronymas? Christmas?
Merry Cronymas, that's right.
Ho, ho,
you know what?
ho.
It actually saddens me to dismantle the word Christmas by saying Cronymas, but explain what it is.
Well, it's Christmas for Obama bundlers. This is the annual ritual, the patronage rewards for his biggest 1% elitist donors. And there have been reports now over the last week that Anna Wintour, the fashion doyenne and famous Vogue editor who raised hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for Team Obama, not just this year, but of course during the first term as well, is being considered for an ambassadorship for Britain. And this is along with several other bundlers who've raised each more than $500,000 for Obama over the last campaign cycle, who are being considered for other positions. And of course, the reaction from the Democrats and the left is, well, this is always the way it's been. And yeah, well, that's exactly the point, because this is what Hope and Change has ushered in, more retroactive access peddling in Washington.
Michelle, why would Anna Wintour want to take a step down from being the top of Vogue magazine?
Well, it's all about the prestige, the power, and the access.
And real quick, Michelle, just tell me what you think is going to happen. On January 1st, will we be over the cliff or will it be a deal cut?
You know, the Republicans have always been rolling over. I think that we need to hear more outrage from taxpayers and grassroots conservatives out there before the inevitable happens again.
There's still 3 weeks. All right, Michelle Malkin joining us from the Springs of Colorado. Thank you very much. Have a great week.
You bet. Thanks, you too.